Hello, my dear fourth year students. Hope you all are absolutely fine and studying at your home. Welcome to our online class. The name of our course is American Poetry, and today we are going to start a new poem that is Birches, written by Robert Frost. To present this class, I am Khaleda Yasmin Sweety with you today. So let's get started. Birches can be regarded as one of the most famous, admired and thoughtful of Frost poems. Through this class, students will get a clear and comprehensive idea about the poem Birches. First, we'll talk about the introduction of this poem. The poem is set in a birches forest where the narrator spots a birches tree or probably multiple trees bending down due to the ice storm. The forest is most probably in the countryside. Robert Frost has lived most of his life in the countryside, so it is no wonder that nature would play an important role in his poems. Birches is a poem that takes you into the woods and nearly up to heaven. It is one of the most popular of Frost blank verse creation and was first published in 1916 in his book Mountain Interval. Here is the complete text of the poem Birches for you all. When I say birches, bend to left and right, across the lines of straighter, darker trees, I like to think some boys been swinging them, but swinging doesn't bend them down to stay, as ice storms do. Often you must have seen them, loaded with ice a sunny winter morning after rain. They click upon themselves as the breeze rises and turn many-colored as the stars creaks and crazes their enamel. Soon the suns want to make them shed crystal shells, shuttering and avalanching on the snow crust, such heaps of broken glass to sweep away you would think the inner doom of heaven had fallen. They are dragged to the withered, broken by the load, and they seem not to break, though once they are bowed. So low for long, they never right themselves. You may see their trunks arching in the woods year afterwards, trailing their leaves on the ground like girls on hands and knees that throw their hair before them over their heads to dry in the sun. But I was going to say, when truth broke in, with all her matter of fact about the ice storm, I should prefer to have some boy bend them. As he went out and in to fetch the cows, some boy too far from the town to learn baseball, whose only play was what he found himself, summer or winter, and could play alone. One by one he subdued his father's trees by riding them down over and over again until he took the stiffness out of them, and not one but hung limp, not one was left for him to conquer. He learned all there was to learn about not launching out too soon, and so not crying to the tree away, clear to the ground. He always kept his poise to the top branches, climbing carefully, with the same pains he used to fill a cup up to the brim and even above the brim. Then he flung outward, feet first, with a swish, kicking his way down through the air to the ground. So I was once myself a swinger of birches, and so I dream of going back to be. It's when I am worthy of consideration, and life is too much like a butler's wood, where your face burns and tickles with the cobwebs broken across it, and one eye is weeping from a twig having lost across it open. I would like to get away from the earth while, and then come back to it and being over. May no fate willfully misunderstand me, and half grant what I wish, and snatch me away, not to return. Earth is the right place for love. I don't know where it's likely to go better. I would like to go by climbing a birches tree, and climb black branches up a snow-white trunk toward heaven, till the tree could bear no more, but drift its top and set me down again. That would be good both going and coming back. one could do worse than be a swinger of birches. Here is the summary of the poem Birches. Here the poet says, a man is walking through the woods looking at the top of the tree line. He sees some trees swing in the wind and he starts to imagine things about the trees. He thinks about how the ice covering the trees cracks when they bend. Then he thinks about how heavy ice and snow will bend thin trees to the ground. This gets him imagining a boy climbing to the top of the trees and bending them down until he can let go and fell safely to the ground. He remembers doing this when he was a kid and wishes that when he left trapped in his adult life he could climb trees. This memory makes him feel like life isn't a trap because his youthful imagination can free him at any moment. Now we'll discuss the themes of this poem. Nature, memory and childhood are the major themes of this poem. The poem speaks about the poet's encounter with those beautiful trees. It illustrates how he associates two different ideas while looking at the bent branches of those beautiful trees. The beautiful widespread bends in the branches remind him of his beautiful past days. Also, he imagines how natural calamities can transform the actual appearance of the objects. He desires to be the swinger of birches as he was in his childhood. Another important theme of Birches is how Frost uses his poetic imagination to transcend the limits of the real world. He rejects the true reason the birches have been bent over in favor of his own fanciful explanation. On some level, he is claiming that this act of the imagination embodies a larger truth that is a odd task, one that must be made with great care and diligence. On the other hand, Frost makes it clear that one must remain within the natural world itself, and that complete escape into the world of the imagination is impossible and not even desirable. It is this tension within the poem that makes each world both appealing and painful. That is, the real world might be a place of pain, but it is also the place for love. On the other hand, the imaginary world is innocent, but it is also solitary and by extension loveless. Now we'll talk about the tone of the poem. The tone of the poem Birches is conventional. At the very beginning, it is calm and somber as the speaker is reflecting upon the nature of birches in winter. Then the tone becomes philosophical because the poet thinks of the depth beyond the apparent look of birches. The tone becomes nostalgic in the end when the poet is thinking of his own childhood and deciding the need to suspend the tension for a while to take pleasure in the beauty because the human realm is inevitable. Now we'll talk about the literary devices are used in this poem by Robert Frost. Literary devices are tools used to convey emotion, ideas and themes in the poem or story. With the help of these devices, the writer or the poets make their text more appealing to the reader. Robert Frost has also employed some literary devices in this poem to capture the beauty of the birches trees. That is, the poet uses here personification, anaphor, simile, imagery and hyperbole. That's all for today, my dear students. Hope you have enjoyed the whole class. In our next class, we'll start the death of a hired man. Till then, stay home, stay safe. Thank you.